This episode is about creation, receiving, and abundance, or you might call it manifestation, relating to money and other things in life, and a little story that I was chuckling to myself about. The Embody podcast accompanies you on your journey of remembering and embodying your true nature, integration and alignment with your vibrational clarity, self-love, and living a life of beauty and wholeness. It's a menu of transformative healing tools, experientials, meditations, and practices from a blend of family constellations, somatic therapies, and holistic and spiritual practices, sprinkled with vulnerable conversations with people who have the courage to be themselves, Alive Now episodes with updates on my personal process, and Reverie episodes that are spiritual succulents that honor, reveal, hug, shake, or stir you into love. I'm your host, Candice Wu, integrative and intuitive healing facilitator and artist. I want to make an edit to last time's episode where I said that the Embody podcast was 5 years old. It is actually 4 years old, in fact, and it just turned 4 on February 5th, 2022. So happy birthday to the Embody podcast, and just celebrating all the years that you've been with me, or just that you've touched in with me when you desired to. And thank you to all of the guests out there, all of the people that have made this podcast possible with your contributions, with your support, with your listening or sharing. And a shout out to Nick Werber, who gave the introductory music to the podcast. That little bubbly sound in the beginning is from him, his own original musical creations. And a big, big thank you to Matilda, one of my virtual assistants, who puts out this podcast and supports me in just publishing and doing some of the administrative things. And a big shout out to Chris Spiegel, who is the editor and producer of the podcast, who does all of the back end work to make this podcast sound good and to catch my mistakes when they happen, like the fact that the podcast is 4 years old, not 5. I did travel to Chiang Mai in 2017, and that was in November. And then in February was when the podcast was born. So my appreciation goes out to you, and thank you again for being here. Hello, and welcome back to the Embody podcast. It's really great to have you here. And let's just begin with a couple of breaths in and out. Simply feeling your breathing and taking a moment with yourself where you can just pause and bask in the fact that you are alive. I don't know what your experience is at the moment, but we all have the ability to pause and look for what might feel okay in ourselves or around us that brings us a feeling of okay inside, or to create the feeling of okay or pleasure or joy from the inside. And to let that magnetize what we desire in our lives outside of our body, outside of our being. It's one and the same, really. Our inner world shows up in the outer world. And it's our relationship with ourselves that gives what we experience with what we call the exterior world. So I just invite you to find where there's a feeling of goodness inside, or neutrality, or calmness, anything that feels okay or good, grounded, any enjoyable sensation. And if that's hard, look outside you, around you. Look for a color you like to see. Look for a beautiful nature or something that allows you to take a deeper breath. Something that allows you to enjoy this moment, even if it's a split second. So I want to share a little story today of my experience, and one that I would relate to what most people might call manifesting. I like to call it creation or creating. It's kind of funny to me, and it's trivial-ish, but it gave me a good way to see what's true for me and what I believe is true in the world for many people. The way that we create, how it is that creation happens, how it is that our manifest world right around us and what we experience is the outpouring of the inner world. And sometimes it's immediate feedback, and sometimes what we see outside of us is the outpouring of the past. So I'll tell a little story and also give a few updates about my new home and all that I've been experiencing. They kind of tie hand in hand. And also this ties into the topic of money quite a bit. At least it does in my mind. I think I'll take us there when we get there. So let's start with this little story. I've been thinking about how much my energetic frequency, my vibration, creates what happens outside directly. In some of the substantial ways of my life, this has really worked. I have felt myself clear up negative beliefs about relationships, about my connections with my family, with partners and romantic partners in my life, with friendships and the way I'm treated or the way I experience friendships. And also with this home, it was such an easy manifestation from beginning to end. And I just trusted and expected that everything was going to move quickly, smoothly, and it was going to be the home space that would support me in being more like myself and having joy. And it is, even with all the problems, quote unquote problems that came up or revealed itself along the way, I felt so much joy here already and feel so happy. I don't regret it one second. So here's what happened. When I moved to this new home, or as I was approaching the move, I was looking around to find a gym that was close by. I had a gym membership near the old space that I was living, and that has many different branches, but the closest one was about 17 minutes. And for me, that's just too long. 8 minutes is great, under 10 minutes. Adding 7 more, making it almost 20 minutes for me is not motivating enough. I already prefer sometimes to just work out at home. So that wasn't going to work. And as I looked around to the other gyms in the area, none of them really seemed that appealing to me. And so my thought was, I would like to have that barbell set that I gave to my sister. Recently, a neighbor had given me a whole barbell with weights for deadlifts and other weightlifting, and I didn't have space for it. I didn't know I was getting a house at that time. So I gave it to my sister. She was so happy to get it, receive it, and to use it. So for the last couple of months, she had been using it and said that she liked it. So I had the thought I want it back. But then I just didn't want to ask my sister for it. I wanted her to have it if she liked it, and it seemed like she did. So had the thought, I want that back. And then I just let it go. I just moved on and thought, well, I've already canceled my membership for this gym that I was going to in preparation to move. And the thought I had was, now I want it back. I guess 17 minutes doesn't sound horrible after all if this is the best option. So luckily, I had not missed the window of the last 15 days or so of my membership, even though I had already canceled and signed off on that and everything. So I went back, and they fortunately just put me back on the cycle I was on. And, there's an annual fee. So I was just right back on that previous cycle as if nothing happened. And that felt good for a moment. I haven't gone to the gym for the last three or so weeks, just out of all the stuff I've been doing in my home space and playing volleyball and spending time with loved ones. So I haven't even utilized it. But the funny thing was, about 5 to 7 days after I had reinstated the membership, my sister texted me and said, "Do you want this weight set back?" Yeah, I do. And she said that she had ordered another one and she was looking around for something better and she finally found it. So this was in the works. In the works, everyone, that she was thinking of giving this weight set back to me or give it away. And she was looking for something else and found it. So part of me goes to, had I waited the 5 or 7 days, this would have shown up and I wouldn't have gone through, it wasn't too much trouble after all, but I wouldn't have gone through reinstating my membership. It would have already been canceled by now and I would have had the weight set that I wanted. Now I'm just paying an extra month and haven't gone to that gym. I am thinking about canceling it again because with this weight set here in my home space, I'm happy with that. I don't really feel like I need more. And so even though it's not very much money to pay 1 month without really going there to this gym, it was pretty inexpensive to begin with. I'm just kind of laughing at the whole thing because what I wanted was already on its way. So I just think this adds even more trusting to my wheelhouse or to my own inner resilience, more trust. And trust that things happen in time and that things are always working out. If I didn't want to pressure my sister for the weights, at least I might have just trusted that I would get what I wanted. Because I did. And that seems to be the momentum that's been building. I receive all that I desire and it works out for me. It's always working out for me. And I know that might sound on some level like it's Pollyanna or it's not what is reality. But what I'm seeing more and more is that it becomes it. The more I feel when things work out and believe it, the more it actually does. So that is the creative power that we have. To believe a thought that you want to believe and to feel into it as if it's already happened, to even visualize it, picture it, feel how good it feels, that it's already right here because it will set it into motion. But not to focus on that part, but just to feel it, to let that be your state of being. Whatever we think we need from the outer world to give us joy or happiness or groundedness, satisfaction, that job, if my job were better, I'd feel better. Or if I had this money, I would feel okay. Or if I had something else, a relationship, I'd feel great. Or I'd have everything I'd wanted. So we're basically putting out there, if we believe that without something else, we are incomplete, or without this thing, we can't be happy. And we're just saying, we're not happy, we're not enough, we are lacking over and over if we continue that train of believing, feeling, vibrating, and thinking. So I do believe that everything happened in just the right way because I guess I needed to see that, even if it was a little funny, comical experience for me. Well, especially because that's kind of a pleasant way for it to arrive. And it allows me to trust a little more, as I said, and to give myself credit for the things that I have already manifested. It's reminding me that if I lean into that, lean into my ability to stay aligned and to trust and to create from the place that I desire, I have done so. And I lost my train of thought, but I've done that. And if I lean into that, it's going to continue to build the momentum for more. It's going to create it into an expectation. So, maybe by reinstating and I'm just putting a lot of logic to this, even though it's really unnecessary. Even if, because I instated that gym membership again, there was probably some feeling in me that this is fine, everything's fine. And that is exactly the kind of energetic state and vibration that allows what you desire to create. So by putting what you desire out there, feeling it, feeling how good it is that this is as if it's already now, and then being non-attached and not focusing on it and just feeling good, just being in that same vibration or other good feelings that lets this open door of receive the thing that you want. And I'm telling this to all of you or sharing this with you as well as reminding myself, because I have watched just a large amount of cash outflow from my life in this recent time of buying a home, making all these repairs on my home, revealing things that I didn't know that I would need to pay for, although that can be somewhat expected. It's more than I have really shelled out in a short amount of time. And on one hand, it feels great. I'm investing in this space and in myself for all of the pleasurable feelings that brings, taking care of myself, getting good water, because part of it was the water softener and the plumbing. So just really feeling worthy of all the things that I desire in my space to take care of myself. And that outflow, it's always, I have seen when it's been a smaller amount, the outflow has been followed by an inflow, unless I stay in fear or get in fear at all. So I'm just reminding myself that it's an in and outflow. There's a constant flow, that I can have abundance and I'll have everything I need when I need it and more. And also that I've always been okay. So there's no reason to fear, even if I am looking at my bank account now or my investments now and things don't look that abundant. I am focusing on not looking at that and just using a little tunnel vision to look forward or to look into the energetic state that is the abundance and that does attract the abundance and that allows money to flow in from any angle in any way that supports me. So if this helps you at all, feel free to take it with you, the story of the weights, the gym membership, and me getting what I wanted, or the feelings of everything's working out for me, everything's working out for you. You are here and you've made it through everything. Things have always been okay. And you can maybe check that statement with your feelings of things. Have things always turned out okay? Are there ways you receive in unexpected ways? When have you been aligned or fully in your empowerment, in your creative power, in just good feelings and more came, or the things that you wanted came? And I would just invite you to lean into those feelings and acknowledging yourself, affirming that for yourself, to build the momentum of the good feelings, of the pleasurable feelings that allows more to continue to come. So thanks for listening. Feel free to share your stories with me if this resonates or strikes a chord with you, or if it triggers you and it doesn't quite fit. Curious to know what your experience is. And before we go today, I'd love to make an announcement. I invite all of you to join my circle on Kygo. Kygo is just a really cool platform. It's not social media, even though it kind of looks like it is because it's online and you're networked with a bunch of people. But it's only a space for wellness, for food and recipes, food as medicine, for healing, for coaching, doctors, and other wellness practitioners that are within a similar network or vibration of connecting. And I've been invited to join it and create a circle there. So the circle is really a group that you can join and you can chat with me there. You can see the things that I'm posting and sharing. And you can also plug in with other wellness practitioners of all kinds that you might just get a nugget from, or you might connect with on a deeper level and seek out their services. You can join my circle at candicewu.com/circle, and it'll be on my website, so you can click in there as well as in the show notes. Feel free to just make a free account, super easy and intuitive, and jump on. You won't be getting any miscellaneous news or just crap on your feed that you don't want to see. It's completely controlled by what circles you join or where you want to plug into. So again, it's candicewu.com/circle, and it's on the Kygo network, and would love to see you there. There will be events there soon by me, as well as you can plug into the events of other practitioners there. That's it for today's episode. I am just staying warm here, drinking a little cup of tea while I'm looking out the window. There's just constant snow falling today here in Michigan, and it's gorgeous. And I'm just thinking about what kind of car I need to manifest or want to manifest, because my tiny little Honda Fit is sliding around on these hilly and dirt roads that don't get plowed in the winter. So I'm dreaming up what my next, or what situation would be safest and most comfortable for me coming up for my transportation. Hope you're doing well, and sending you just a lot of warmth. Be well, and I hope you found something in here for yourself today. See you next time on the Embody Podcast.